I often have a lot of people asking what exactly Yin is as a practice, and many people have never even heard of Yin Yoga. If you have, you were probably experienced it at some studio point, or potentially just maybe have heard the catchwords online. But I would like to give a little bit deeper explanation of what Yin is and what it does and why you need it. So Yin practice is a very different practice from your Vinyasa or Hatha, also very different from restorative. So a Vinyasa Hatha practice is focused entirely on, or majorly, on your strengthening and stretching your muscles and all the things around your muscles. What we're looking at in Yin is we're looking at connective tissue, joints, bones, and ligaments, things that get some amount of stretch in a normal Vinyasa Flow or Hatha class. But the focus isn't really on those things. So when the muscles engage, kind of takes some of the emphasis off of the connective tissue and all those cold tissues. So what we do in Yin is we focus on three main concepts, the principles of Yin. The first principle is you don't want to go into the deepest part of your pose. So if you're someone who naturally folds very far forward and you can get yourself all the way down to the ground, you may not want to go that far simply because we're going to be holding these poses anywhere from 1 to 8 minutes. So in a normal class, you may hold that pose for 4 or 5 breaths. You're probably not going to hold it for the amount of time we hold it in a Yin practice. Holding that longer results in something, and this is why we hold it longer, results in something like traction. So when you take traction, you take something, you kind of pull on it for an extended period of time, so let gravity take its way, you release the muscles, and this strengthens the bone by putting what we call an appropriate amount of pressure on it. It also helps mobilize that tissue because it's making space in there, a little bit of space, keeping it mobilized. So second principle is that you're going to be holding these poses for a while. So when you sink into it, find what we call your 65 percentile, or maybe 2/3 of your maximum pose, the depth of the pose that you normally go, and you're going to hold it. Take some breaths, release into it, let gravity do what gravity does best, which is to take you wherever gravity wants to take you to. Have a little patience. Let those breaths kind of sink you in a little deeper. Start to notice your sensations, and you may feel things that you have never felt before. You may feel emotions rising. You may feel parts of your body that you've never sensed before. And this is a great chance to check in with your body, check in with your awareness. If you feel any shooting pains or shocking pains or pain, you want to come out of the pose partially or all the way. Find an alternative as well, or just simply come out of the pose. If you're finding some stretching sensations, like the skin feels really taut or it's pulling, this is the natural traction that happens in a Yin class, and the pose is doing exactly what it was meant to do. If you feel nothing at all, it's still working. You might want to adjust your depth into the pose, maybe sink a little bit further, go a little bit deeper, or you might be very happy where you're at. Second principle is hold. Third principle is take some breaths and just hang out there for a little while. So checking in with yourself, making sure everything's going okay, focusing on your breath, focusing on settling in, and just enjoying the quiet. There's something really lovely about just hanging out in a pose for an extended period of time and just feeling everything that comes up. I always tell people, for me, there's a fourth principle that sometimes you'll reach a point in your pose where you feel like you really want to come out. And you're thinking the teacher has forgotten you and you're never going to get out. Know that the fourth principle is you will always come out of this pose. This too will end. And so have a little patience, breathe deeper, take a few breaths and just settle in and see where it goes. And after a while, generally that feeling will go away and then it'll be time to come out of the pose. So how often should you do Yin and why should you do Yin? Yin can help you with all those other things that you do, your Vinyasa Flow, your Hatha practice, weight training, sports, because it allows you to mobilize that tissue that's not really touched as much during some other active practice, some other activity. It helps not only mobilize that and stabilize it, it helps strengthen your bones in certain ways, helps strengthen your ligaments and joints. It also helps you bring a little bit more body awareness to yourself. So I find that for me, it not only gave me mobility that I didn't have before, but it also gave me a little bit more safety. So it made my other activities safer because I knew what was going on and I knew what to look for and how it went. I didn't feel like I was pulling a lot of stuff out as much because it was more mobile and I was more aware. How often? I practice Yin Yoga every single day. It's a great practice to start your day off. You don't have to warm up. You can tumble out of bed in your pajamas and go straight to your Yin practice. It's probably best first thing in the morning because your tissue is really cold, your muscles are cold, and you're really going to get the most mobility and traction and openness out of a morning practice. However, you can practice any time of day. It's even a great practice for nighttime because it helps you turn inward a little bit, soften, sink into yourself. You won't get the same mobility that you would in the morning practice, but you will get that sense of quiet and that sense of settling down and settling in, and probably a better transition to sleep with a Yin practice at night. I suggest people practice at least once or twice a week. Probably twice a week would be better. On your off days, maybe the days that you don't do an activity or you don't do a sport or you don't go to the gym or do something else, it's a great practice. Or you could practice Yin before you do those things, sort of as a pre-stretch stretch. So your stretching technique could include some Yin poses held for longer to help open you up for those other activities that you are engaging in. So please, if you have any questions, like and comment below. I'm happy to answer questions about Yin. I personally love Yin. I've been doing it for probably about 5 years now, and have found just such mobility and health doing Yin and so much comfort in doing Yin. And also, please check out the other Yin videos that I have. I will be uploading a Yin video per month, longer or shorter. Some of my videos are shorter, some are much longer. But please subscribe to my channel and take a look at those and see what you think, and I will be loading those up monthly as well. Thank you so much for taking this time to watch this video, and I hope this explains a few things as to why and what Yin is and helps you add that to your routine because it's a great addition to your week-long routine of exercise.